One step closer to becoming law, the House passed the bill Friday. It would ban race-based hair discrimination at work, and it now heads to the Senate for a final vote. Our next guest is a former TV news reporter and one of the first black journalists to make the bold move. Didn't she do it? Wearing her hair natural on the air. She wrote a book based on her experience called Curly Girl, My Curls Are Mine to Love, and we love her. Welcome to Start Your Day, Casey Barron-McGee. You are an inspiration. We appreciate you. You've worked in television news for a decade, so you get it. You understand the hair expectations. And by the way, your hair is beautiful. It's absolutely beautiful in its natural glory. But you know the expectations in this business for black women in media. Share your personal journey. How did you get comfortable wearing your hair natural?
You said it. We know the industry and how it treats women. It's very critical. It's very stringent on how we're expected to show up to the workplace in a professional setting for journalists. So there was a point after about 10 years in the business, about 2017, I kind of started feeling like I was being stuck in this box of what was expected of me. And I was ready to get out of the box. I wanted to really be true to who I felt I was inside, and the hair just kind of became an outward expression of how I was developing and growing as a woman. And so I chopped it off and showed up to work one day with a short curly fro right after Jazz Fest. My hair was sweated out and I couldn't do anything with it the next day. So I just showed up to work with my curly fro, and I haven't turned back since.
Yeah. And did others show out when you showed up to work that way? Management, what can you tell us about how it was received? Viewers too.
Yeah, so prior to my transition, there were bosses in my environment who were white men. So if I did anything different to my hair, if I dyed it or anything like that, or if it was too long, there was comments from management. But when I did make the transition to natural, I was lucky to have a black woman who was natural as my news director. So going to her and saying,
wow.
you know, I want to start wearing my natural hair. And she was completely okay with it. And, you know, basically she said, as long as it looks good, girl, you fine. So I went with it. And then once I did, the viewers were a mixed bag. You know, I have tons of viewers now who reach out to me and say they love it. But there were a few in the beginning who were critical. I don't even want to repeat some of the things that were said to me, but I didn't let it affect me and how I, you know, viewed myself. It helped me realize that I was standing in a space that was different. And I tell girls now, just embrace the differences about yourself, because those are the things that sometimes people will attack, but those are the things sometimes that they wish they had.
Yeah, that part. No need to go in the basement with that person who's typing away. You wrote Curly Girl to inspire women, young women who watch you on the news. We all know, you know, we grew up watching the news and hopefully saw someone who inspired us. Tell us more about the book.
Yeah. So Curly Girl is about Bailey. She is going into her second grade year, and she loves her curls. She gets ready to go to school, and she has her curls all high and puffy like she always wears them. Then she goes to school, and these girls make fun of her. They start calling her hair crunchy popcorn balls. Mean girls, right? So then she goes home and wants to change her hair. She wants it straight like the girls at school. But then at the end of the book, she sees the news lady on TV with curls. And she realizes, you know, Mom, I can be just like that lady on TV. So, and like you said, there were people who represented black women in media for me growing up, watching them. You know, Sally Ann Roberts here in New Orleans, Hoda Kotb was here in New Orleans at the time. Michelle Miller were here. Nischelle Turner. So all of these women were people that I was able to look up to as black women, maybe not natural, but they were black women in TV, and they showed out, and they made me realize I could be that. So now being able to step into the space of comfort of being myself fully and seeing other girls look up to me, it's really just kind of gives me chills to think back and think that I'm kind of in that space that were for me back then.
Yeah, and it's real. It is so real and so simple a thing for a young child, a young woman to be able to just see herself on television. You are wrapping up a national book tour. You hosted 2 book readings in New York City. How did young girls there react to the book and you?
You know, I was excited to go there and speak to these young girls, and it always is a pleasure to go into these classrooms. But I was kind of touched because there was an exercise we did after reading the book, and I asked them to say something that they love about themselves. And you would not believe how hard it was for these girls to just go through and say something that they love about
Mm.
themselves. And it really just it cut me deep to realize that us as women, even the principal, when I came to her, had a hard time saying what she loved about herself. And it helped me realize that we as women need to kind of learn to embrace and love ourselves before we can really expect ourselves to love the world. The world can be tough, so if we don't love ourselves first, then we can't expect it from the world.
Casey, you've done an extraordinary thing. I like to say there's no crying on morning TV, but as they were showing the pictures of those young people holding your book, it warms your heart. You have done a great thing by stepping out bravely. Curly Girl is available for purchase on Amazon. My daughter's 10, but I'm still going to buy it just because I want to support you.
Oh
Thanks
yeah,
so much for starting your day
please.
with us, Casey. BNC Go. Of
Thank you
course
for
I will. You're
having me.
beautiful. Stay just the way you are and come back. BNC